The gentle image of a morning in Waco, Texas, in a quiet bank, suddenly turns tense. A man wearing a red hat with prominent words walked into First Horizon Bank. The hat is more than just an accessory. It carries a controversial story and point of view. The man looked normal, but his appearance immediately changed the atmosphere in the room. Brenda Carter, a dedicated and professional manager, looked up from her desk. Her eyes stopped at the hat, and an unexpected decision was made. She refused to serve him, even though there was no problem with the account. What made Brenda act this way? The story doesn't stop here. It takes us into a deeper discussion about discrimination, personal opinions, and limitations in the workplace. Let's explore the unexpected development and meaning behind it in the next few minutes. The morning at First Horizon Bank in Waco, Texas, was like any other day. Brenda Carter, branch manager, is checking the books at her desk. The transaction room is filled with the sounds of typing on keyboards, the sound of papers being flipped, and light conversations between employees and customers. The glass door opened automatically, bringing in a light breeze. Brenda raised her head. Her eyes unconsciously stopped when a man entered. He was wearing a light gray shirt and jeans, looking as normal as anyone else. But what caught the attention of Brenda and a few nearby employees was the bright red hat on his head, with the clear words, "Make America Great Again." Brenda felt her heart sink for a moment. The hat, although just an accessory, for her and many others, it carries complex meanings and emotions. She adjusted her sitting position, trying to keep her face professional. The man walked to the transaction counter. The teller, a young woman named Kelly, smiled slightly and began to ask, "Hello, how can I help you today?" "Good morning," the man said, his voice low and polite. "I need to make a money transfer." Before Kelly could continue, Brenda stood up and walked slowly to the counter. She placed her hand lightly on the edge of the counter, her voice clear but not lacking in coldness. "Sorry, sir. I'm Brenda Carter, branch manager here. We have regulations allowing the right to refuse service in certain circumstances, and today, unfortunately, I have to decline your request." The man slowly turned his head, his eyes shining with surprise, but not anger. He looked at Brenda, remained silent for a few seconds before asking, his voice calm, "Really? I'm curious to know. What is your reason?" Brenda stood up straight, took a deep breath before answering. "Sir, we believe that your appearance, especially the symbol on the hat, may cause discomfort or inconvenience to some other customers. Our bank always wants to maintain a safe and comfortable space for everyone." The man smiled slightly, a sarcastic smile but without losing his politeness. "Safe space," he repeated her words as if pondering. "Are you so afraid of my hat that you can't make a normal transaction? Really interesting." Brenda hesitated a bit, but still maintained her point of view. "We're just following policy, sir. This is not a personal matter." The man nodded slowly, his eyes leaving Brenda to look around the room. A few customers started to notice this interaction. The air suddenly became stuffy. "Very good, I see," he said, pulling a business card from his pocket and placing it gently on the counter. "If you want to refuse me, I won't make it difficult for you. But I hope you understand that not all decisions are without consequences." He turned around and walked out of the bank, without raising his voice, without arguing. His calmness left a strange feeling for all those present. Minutes after the meeting, Brenda returned to her desk, but her eyes unconsciously looked towards the glass door where the man had just left. A strange feeling crept into her heart, not regret, but uneasiness, as if she had awakened something she couldn't control. "Brenda, do you think we did it right?" Kelly, the teller, asked quietly. Brenda nodded, but her voice was no longer as certain as before. We did it right, according to the regulations. There's nothing wrong. However, the image of the man with the incomprehensible smile kept repeating in her head. Brenda wondered, was he who he seemed? His silence seemed more terrifying than any anger. Outside the bank, the man stood next to the black car, staring at the phone screen. He sent a short message, put the phone in his pocket, and got into the car. Before driving away, he looked up at the bank. His eyes were sharp but unpredictable. Little did Brenda know that her decision had started a chain of events that she could not have foreseen. And the man, with a calm appearance, was preparing for an action that no one could have expected. The next morning, First Horizon Bank was bustling as usual. Brenda Carter was preparing documents for an internal meeting when the glass door opened automatically. Brenda raised her head, and this time, her eyes widened in surprise. The man wearing the red hat from the other day walked in, but he wasn't alone. Two men wearing neat black suits accompanied them, with serious and professional expressions on their faces. The whole room seemed to stop for a moment. The sounds of typing on the keyboard stopped, and the eyes of the staff and customers all turned to the three people. Brenda stood up, trying to calm herself, but the feeling of insecurity inside her rose strongly. Diane, her assistant, suddenly whispered with a trembling voice, "Brenda, that's Elon Musk." Brenda turned around, her eyes wide. "Elon Musk?" she repeated, as if she couldn't believe her ears. But when you look closely, everything is clear. The calm man yesterday is the famous global billionaire. Elon Musk walked up to the transaction counter, still with a calm look and a light smile. But this time, that smile carried a weight that made the space seem more tense. Brenda quickly walked over, trying to stay calm. "Mr. Musk, I'm sorry if yesterday..." Brenda stammered, her voice broken. Elon raised his hand, signaling her to stop talking. "No need to apologize, Miss Carter," he said, his voice gentle but sharp. "I didn't come here to hear apologies. I came to tell you a lesson that I think you and this whole bank need to hear." Elon looked straight at Brenda. His eyes were so profound that she felt like she was being looked into her soul. "Yesterday, you refused to serve me based on an assumption. Just because of a hat," Elon began, his voice low but strong. "She thinks that hat represents inconvenience, discord. But the truth is, your decisions reflect more on yourself and how you see the world than they do on me." Brenda bowed her head, her face red. She couldn't find any words to refute. "Do you know what consequences such hasty assumptions can have?" Elon continued. "Not only does it hurt others, but it also causes us to lose out on great opportunities." Her one simple decision could have cost her the opportunity to build a relationship with someone who was willing to do good for this community. Brenda tried to reply, I just want to keep the environment safe and comfortable for everyone." Elon smiled slightly, but that smile did not contain satisfaction. "Safe and comfortable?" he repeated. "You think exclusion and judgment are ways to create comfort? The reality is, empathy is what we need to build a truly safe community." Elon looked around the room. His eyes seemed to convey a strong message to everyone. "Today, I decided to donate $500,000 to Waco Community Relief Fund, a community support organization helping those who need it most. I hope this can help you understand that, instead of judging, we should use our power to create positive change." The whole room was silent for a moment. Brenda felt a lump in her throat and was speechless. Elon walked over and placed a business card on the counter. "If you need another reason to rethink how you treat others, call me," he said, then turned around and left the bank with 2 people following him. Brenda stood still, her eyes following Elon's figure disappearing behind the glass door. A wave of emotions rolled through her: regret, confusion, and a sense of enlightenment. She turned back to look at Diane, who was still surprised as if she had just witnessed something unbelievable. In Brenda's heart, an important lesson had just been engraved. Hasty assumptions can cause us to lose more than we think. And more importantly, real power lies not in exclusion, but in empathy and how we use it to do good. This story not only changed Brenda, but also made everyone in the bank realize the true value of empathy and tolerance. The next morning at First Horizon Bank, the atmosphere was unusually tense. Brenda Carter walked into the office, but all eyes seemed to be following her. Murmurs echoed everywhere. A young employee approached Brenda, holding the phone in his hand. "Sister Brenda, have you seen the news?" Brenda frowned, her voice lowered. "What's going on?" The employee handed her the phone, and on the screen was a big headline: "Elon Musk faces prejudice at the bank. MAGA hat causes controversy." Brenda felt her heart sink. She scrolled through the article, which detailed the events of the previous day, from her decision to refuse service to Elon Musk's impressive return with a $500,000 donation to Waco Community Relief Fund. The article spread at breakneck speed, not only on social networks, but also appeared on major newspapers. In just a few hours, the story attracted millions of views and comments. Many people criticized Brenda and the bank for their perceived judgmental and prejudiced actions. Hashtags like "CSU Empathy," "Matters," and "You Learn Before You Judge" flooded Twitter and Facebook. The media focused on the bank, causing employees to fall into a stressful situation. Some customers sent emails to complain and even announced they would transfer their accounts to another bank. But not all reactions were negative. The Fike Gertin Feed Community Relief Fund, where Elon Musk donated, received great support from the community. Other local businesses and individuals also chipped in with donations, turning the initial $500,000 into more than $3 million in just 1 week. This is a testament to the power of empathy, a foundation representative said in an interview. Mr. Musk's actions have inspired us to reconsider the way we treat each other. Brenda spends the morning answering calls from supervisors and customers. Every call was a challenge, and she couldn't deny that she was wrong. As she sat back at her desk, Brenda felt pressured. She not only felt ashamed of her actions, but also worried about the future of the branch and her personal reputation. "I did it wrong," Brenda admitted to Diane in a private conversation. "But I can't change what happened. The only thing I can do now is make things right." Brenda decided to take action. She held a branch-wide meeting where she bluntly apologized to the staff. "I let hasty judgments influence my decisions. This not only harms the bank's reputation, but also goes against the values I personally believe in." She announced that she would participate in diversity and inclusion training sessions and encouraged all employees to do the same. "I want us to be more than just a bank, but a place where everyone feels respected, no matter who they are or what they stand for." Brenda's actions created a wave of change in the bank. Employees began attending training sessions, and internal policies were adjusted to ensure that all customers were served fairly. Brenda is also involved in community activities, working with the Waco Community Relief Fund to support education programs on empathy and tolerance. In a later interview, Brenda shared, "What happened made me realize that sometimes mistakes are opportunities for us to learn and grow. I know I hurt others, and I'm trying to do everything I can to make it right." Quiet afternoon at the office, Brenda Carter sat alone in her office. She looked out the glass window, where the sunlight shone through the trees, but her heart couldn't help but stir. The recent events were like a slow-motion tape in her head, every detail clear, every emotion intertwined. She held a small notebook in her hand and wrote the first line. "Freedom of speech does not mean the right to judge others." Brenda sighed. Previously, she used to think she was a fair leader, always decisive and correct. But now, she realizes that judgments based on appearance not only hurt others, but also cause her to miss valuable opportunities. "Why do I let a hat guide my decisions?" Brenda wondered. She remembered Elon Musk's calm but sharp eyes when he talked about the harmful effects of hasty assumptions. "Our judgments say nothing about others. They only reflect ourselves," he had said, and those words kept echoing in her mind. Brenda picked up the pen and continued writing. "Judgment not only closes the door on others, but also blocks your own opportunities. I have learned that humility and understanding not only help us grow, but are also the foundation for building a better community." She recalled Elon Musk's $500,000 donation to a local charity. It is not only an act of charity, but also a reminder that true power lies in the ability to create positive change rather than judgment or exclusion. Brenda said quietly to herself, "Pride may break us, but humility can rebuild." Your pride can knock us down, but humility can rebuild everything. She understands that mistakes are inevitable, but true growth lies in how we face and correct those mistakes. Brenda decided to turn this lesson into motivation for change. Not only did she participate in training sessions on tolerance, but she also began organizing workshops at the bank, where employees shared stories and learned how to listen and understand each other. One of the biggest lessons Brenda learned was the value of empathy. She not only wants to correct her mistakes, but also wants to create an environment where everyone feels valued, no matter where they come from or what they represent. Sometimes, it is the most difficult moments that help us grow the most. She shared in a branch-wide meeting afterward. The recent events were like a slow-motion tape in her head, every detail clear, every emotion intertwined. She held a small notebook in her hand and wrote the first line. "Freedom of speech does not mean the right to judge others." Brenda sighed. Previously, she used to think she was a fair leader, always decisive and correct. But now, she realizes that judgments based on appearance not only hurt others, but also cause her to miss valuable opportunities. "Why do I let a hat guide my decisions?" Brenda wondered. She remembered Elon Musk's calm but sharp eyes when he talked about the harmful effects of hasty assumptions. "Our judgments say nothing about others. They only reflect ourselves," he had said, and those words kept echoing in her mind. Brenda picked up the pen and continued writing. "Judgment not only closes the door on others, but also blocks your own opportunities. I have learned that humility and understanding not only help us grow, but are also the foundation for building a better community." She recalled Elon Musk's $500,000 donation to a local charity. It is not only an act of charity, but also a reminder that true power lies in the ability to create positive change, rather than judgment or exclusion. Brenda said quietly to herself, "Pride may break us, but humility can rebuild." Pride can knock us down, but humility can rebuild everything. She understands that mistakes are inevitable, but true growth lies in how we face and correct those mistakes. A new future from old lessons. Brenda decided to turn this lesson into motivation for change. Not only did she participate in training sessions on tolerance, but she also began organizing workshops at the bank, where employees shared stories and learned how to listen and understand each other. One of the biggest lessons Brenda learned was the value of empathy. She not only wants to correct her mistakes, but also wants to create an environment where everyone feels valued, no matter where they come from or what they represent. Sometimes, it is the most difficult moments that help us grow the most, she shared in a branch-wide meeting afterward. Brenda's story not only changed her life, but also created a profound change in the community and bank she led. Values such as empathy, humility, and understanding have become guiding principles for everyone. Brenda's story is not only a personal lesson, but also a profound reminder for all of us. Freedom of speech is not an excuse to judge or hurt others. Happy assumptions sometimes cause us to miss great opportunities, great things that we haven't seen yet. Humility and understanding are not only essential qualities of a leader, but also the foundation for building a cohesive, kind, and sympathetic community. Remember, before judging, listen. Before acting, understand. That's the only way to create positive change together. If this story has touched you, please take a moment to betwijfeltig. Drop a like, edifying, chai to your tweet, and poi kikid. Sakri feed, share my keef. The article with loved ones, or those you think will find value in the story. Your support is a great source of encouragement, helping our team continue to strive to bring more meaningful content every day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss any future stories. And if you have your favorite thoughts or lessons from this story, please share with us in the comments section below. Thank you for taking the time to accompany and spread positive values.